Nath Ju ki, Shri Krishna Balaram Ju ki, Shri Jagannath, Shri Baladev, Shrimati Subhadra Mai, Shri Darshan Ju ki, Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki, Sankirtan Yagya ki, Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol, Samaveda Bhakta Vinda ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Gurudev. Gauragraganya Gana Gocha Golodaharam Gauranga Gudatama Gopyada Kolpa Briksham Gopala Gada Ratidam Yati Singha Gora Govinda Deshi Kavaram Satatam Namami Uttama Adama Kichuna Bachila Jachiya Dhileka Kola Kahe Premananda Hemana Gauranga Hridoya Dariya Bola Braja Gauranga Kaha Gauranga Laha Gaurangirana Jai Jana Gauranga Bhaje Se Hoya Mara Pranare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yasyaiva Padambuja Bhakti Labhya Prema Bidana Parama Pumarta Tasmai Jagan Mangala Mangalaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Madgavirapi Gopala Sri Kuryat Kripaya Judi Tadaiva Sambhaya Pidva Rishyayustat Priya Janaha Shri Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Sasanatana Rupaka Gopala Raghunathabda Brajabala Bapahimam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Reading from Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. This is Madhya Lila chapter 2, text number 95, the last verse in this chapter. Pana Janra Agyadana Brajera Vaishnavagana Bandon Vandon Tanra Mukhya Haridas Chaitanya Vilasa Sindhu Kalolera Ekabindu Taraka Tarakana Kohe Krishna Das Others? Vagana Vandandana Mukhya Haridasa Caitanya Vilasa Sindhu Harakana Kahe Krishna Dasa Panayana Yagyadana Brajera Vaishnavagana Vandantana Mukhya Haridasa Caitanya Vilasa Sindhu Kalalira Ekabindu Tarakana Kahe Krishna Dasa Panayana Agyadana Brajera Vaishnavagana Vandantana Mukhya Harida Caitanya Vilasa Sindhu Kalalira Ekabindu Tarakana Kahe Krishna Das Pana getting Yanra whose Agyadana order Brajera of Vrindavan Vaishnavagana all the Vaishnavas Bandon I worship Tanra of them Mukhya the chief Haridasa Haridas Caitanya Vilasa Sindhu of the ocean of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Kalolera Eka Bindu one drop of one wave Tara of it Kana a particle only Kahe describes Krishna Dasa Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Receiving orders from the above authorities and the Vaishnavas of Vrindavan, especially from Haridas, the priest of Govindaji, I, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, have tried to describe one small particle of one drop of one wave of the ocean of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Caitanya-caritamrita Madhya Lila, 2nd chapter, describing the ecstatic manifestations of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gurave Gurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. There's a similar verse description in Madhya Lila chapter 24 of Caitanya-caritamrita in text 345. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami there says a similar thing, and Srila Prabhupada gives some purport, which I'd like to draw on for today, since there's no purport for this verse. Ehi sangshepai sutra kahilundig darshana jabe tumi likiba Krishna kore besh purana. He says, I've thus given a synopsis of the Vaishnava regulated principles. I've given this in order just to give you a little direction. When you write on this subject, Krishna will help you by spiritually awakening you. So this is a statement from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Srila Sanatana Goswami, informing him, I've given you a synopsis, now you have to fill in the blanks. Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport, one cannot write on spiritual matters without being blessed by Krishna and the disciplic succession of gurus. The blessings of the authorities are one's power of attorney. One should not try to write anything about Vaishnava behavior and activities without being authorized by superior authorities. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, evam parampara praptam imam rajarsayo vidu. So in this verse we're hearing today, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is asking for the agya dhana. He wants some dhana. Everyone wants dhana. Everyone wants some wealth. What is the wealth that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is asking for? Agya dhana brajara Vaishnava gana. He wants the agya, the order, the wealth of the order from the Vaishnavas. He doesn't want to be an impudent person. It's an extremely important principle in our spiritual life. We have to have the blessings of the Vaishnavas. Sometimes devotees, they think, well, I have respect Gurudev. But you guys, they don't have respect for the devotees. But how can we please Gurudev if we don't please the devotees? If we just cause trouble, if we don't cooperate with the devotees. Srila Prabhupada spoke so much about cooperation. And we want not just to cooperate with the devotees, we want the ashirvad. We want the blessings of the devotees. In Bhakti Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami says a very startling thing. He says that Krishna does not have mercy. Are Baba, how can you say that? Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu. He's an ocean of mercy, right? But our Guru Maharaj, sitting right here in one class, he said that if you go to Krishna and you say, hey Krishna, you're the ocean of mercy, please give me mercy, then Krishna, he said, will tell you, I don't have that mercy. I've given it away. You came to the wrong place. We have to go to the place known as Krishna Kripa Sri Murti. We have to go to the Vaishnavas. And Srila Jiva Goswami very elaborately and very beautifully explains this in Bhakti Sandarbha. He explains that to give mercy, you have to have compassion, right? To have compassion, you have to have empathy. Empathy means that you have to feel the pain of the other person. So Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. He doesn't know anything about pain. He doesn't know anything about problems. He learned a little something about separation. That's another subject. But he doesn't know what it's like to have a bad day, to be depressed. Krishna doesn't know those things. So therefore, how can Krishna show empathy to other persons? He doesn't know what it's like to suffer. And if he can't have empathy, then how can he show compassion and how can he give mercy? So we may become confused then. Krishna's, we pray, hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu. That Krishna is the ocean of mercy, but now we're being told Krishna doesn't have any mercy. Krishna has mercy. Krishna's mercy is with his devotees. And if we think that we can progress in bhakti without the ashirvad, the blessing of the devotees, we're living in an illusion, because bhakti stu bhagavad bhakta sangena parijayate. The Brihanaradiya Purana states that bhakti comes from the devotees. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoya Sadhu Sangha. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami emphatically states in Caitanya-caritamrita, the birthplace of Krishna Bhakti is Sadhu Sangha. Now you may say, but not these guys. Who are these guys? I know that they all have problems. But no, these are Krishna's devotees. I find it very significant in this purport from Srila Prabhupada that we just read. He said that the blessings of the authorities are one's power of attorney. A very interesting statement. He didn't say that the blessings of the devotees are the Shakti by which you're going to be able to write. He says they're the power of attorney. Power of attorney means someone is connecting you with the authorities. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're fully qualified. And Srila Prabhupada used to say that you should speak. Right? Guru Maharaj told us, he said, you should speak Krishna Katha. He told me once, I'll tell you this story. We were in the airport in Kolkata, and Guru Maharaj was flying to Australia. I was flying to Malaysia. And at one point, Chaitanya Chandraprabhu went to use the bathroom, and he asked me to stay with Gurudev. So it was just the two of us. So I went to Guru Maharaj. I said, Guru Maharaj, I want to reveal my heart to you. I'm afraid. I have fear to go to Malaysia. And Guru Maharaj said, why are you afraid? Vaishnavas never afraid. You go. And I said, Guru Maharaj, when I go there, they ask me to give class like every day for like 1 or 2 months. Every day. And the leaders are coming, and every Sunday feast, and sometimes they arrange programs in 3 or 4 classes in a day. And Guru Maharaj said, so, you speak. And I said, but Guru Maharaj, what's the benefit? What's the point? I'm a conditioned soul. And if I speak and then they give me such an opportunity like that, then I'm just going to become proud. And who's going to benefit from that? And then Guru Maharaj, sometimes with Guru Maharaj, when you'd say something that he liked, he would give you a very piercing glance. And he would stop and just look at you. He did that with me. He looked at me for a moment. And then he said very strongly, he said, if someone asks you to speak, you must. You have no other choice. He said, but when you speak, you just repeat what you've heard from your guru and the previous acharyas. And then Guru Maharaj took his finger and jammed it in my chest really hard. It hurt. And he said, and don't think it belongs to you. The repeating stuff is not so hard. I have a folio. I can collect quotes and say some things from Guru Maharaj. That's not very hard. But the thinking, understanding it's not belonging to me, that's what we call in America a work in progress. That's something you have to cultivate in a very, very deep way. And this is Vaishnavism. This is our movement. We don't always get along with everybody. We don't always agree with each other. If we did, I would be very worried. If everybody in this world agreed with me about everything, that would be very frightening. That would be a terrible place. But there's diversity. And Srila Prabhupada spoke about coming together every year in Mayapur and having meetings to discuss about unity and diversity. It's a very important principle. We want to hear from the Vaishnavas. And not everyone is going to agree with you. I promise. And that's good. We don't want everyone to agree with us. In the spiritual world, there's different rasas. And Mother Yashoda, she doesn't appreciate maybe what Raktak and Patrak are doing, or Sridham and Subal. She likes her service. And the gopis like their service. Everyone thinks their service is the best. And Vrindavan is that place where everyone is doing their particular service in their way, thinking this is the best mood, the best service. But they also cooperate with others. And they also see they have this vision. In the beginning of Harinam Chintamani, Srila Thakur Bhaktivinoda gives a very interesting kind of introduction to the book. The book is about the holy name. But he begins the book by speaking about how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's Sarvagya, he knows everything, he's Sarvakarana Karanam, he's the Supreme Controller and Doer of everything. Still, when he went to Jagannath Puri, he played the role of a bhakta. And to teach us what it means to be a bhakta, he heard Mukti Tattva from the lips of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat for 1 week at Sarvabhauma's feet, hearing from him like a humble student. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard Nam Tattva from Haridas Thakur. He heard Sadhya Sadhana Tattva from Ramananda Roy. He heard Rasa Tattva from the lips of Rupa Goswami. But he's the speaker. He's everything. But he's teaching us what it means to be a devotee. A devotee means that we're willing to hear from other persons. A devotee means that we need the agya dana. We need this wealth of the blessings of the Vaishnavas. Otherwise, what is the difference between being a manager or having a position and politics? Sometimes there's no difference, unfortunately. But there's a big difference in Vaishnavism. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami didn't push to be labeled as Kaviraj. He didn't want that position. But the Vaishnavas requested him, you write about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he told them, I have no qualification. It's such a vast subject. He said, no, you should write this thing. So Srila Prabhupada, this purport we were just reading, he's saying that one cannot try to write without being authorized by superior authorities. Now let me read something to you also. This is from a lecture Srila Prabhupada gave in Los Angeles in August of 1972. Prabhupada said, realization means you must write. Every one of you should write. What is your realization? You should write for Back to Godhead. You should write what you've realized about Krishna. That's required. It's not passive. Always you should be active. Whenever you find time, you should write. Never mind 2 lines, 4 lines, but you should write your realization. Shravanam Kirtanam, writing or offering prayers, glories. This is one of the functions of the Vaishnavas. You're hearing, but you have to write also. Guru Maharaj once told me, he said, Madhavananda, you do 4 things. You hear, you read, you write, you speak. These 4 things. You hear, he said, from the proper authority. But Gurudev spoke so many things. He spoke so many siddhantas. He quoted so many verses. I don't remember them. So then I read. And by reading, he said, you remember, oh, this is what Guru Maharaj was quoting. And then you write it down. You hear it, you read it, you write it. And then he said, by writing it down, you understand it. Because you're further contemplating it. You're further digesting it. And then he said, after you've written it, then you should speak. And when you speak at that point, after you've heard, read, and wrote, then you speak. And then he says, then you'll own it. It'll become yours. So this is our system. It doesn't mean that no one should write. It doesn't mean that no one should be guru. Guru Maharaj spoke so much. He said guru means Sarup Shakti Krishna Pushta Parikar. That's guru. Guru means Premi Bhakta. Guru Maharaj spoke very heavily about that. But at the same time, I personally saw on several occasions Guru Maharaj telling some of his godbrothers, I won't say names, telling some of his godbrothers, you should initiate disciples. And they protested. They said, Maharaj, we're not qualified. Guru Maharaj said, no, you must do. And he told us in Mayapur one year, he said, in this international society, there's different opinions. And it's necessary for different persons to be guru. And not everyone is going to be fully qualified. Well then, if he's speaking like this, I'm quoting these things, but then on the other hand, Guru Maharaj said, Sarup Shakti Krishna Pushta Parikar. Guru means Premi Bhakta. How do you reconcile these two things? One thing is Shishya Abhiman. And the other thing is Guru Lakshana. Guru Lakshana, I don't know. I can't tell if Riseshwar Gopal is a guru or not, and what platform he's on. I don't know. But I have an obligation to myself, Shishya Abhiman, that if I have faith in someone, and what kind of faith should I have? Should I have passive faith? Should I have a little faith? Komala Shraddha? Oh, he speaks very nice. He's very handsome. He's a big manager. He must be bona fide. Don't have that kind of lokik Shraddha. You want paramartik Shraddha. Jiva Goswami says Shastriya Shraddha. You want faith because the person is speaking Shastra, and you want faith because you see you're staying with him for a few years and this person is qualified. You don't know because you're not qualified, but it appears that he's qualified. And the qualification you're looking for is that he's speaking Shastra, he's repeating our acharyas. You don't know what he's doing privately. You don't know how elevated he is. But if he's doing these two things, then you're confident that I'm getting the proper thing. If he's telling you to chant Hare Krishna, read the Bhagavatam, I can be very confident in those things. And so the disciple has to have Dhrida Shraddha, firm faith in Gurudev. It's very, very important. Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha, he says, what do you do if you lose faith in Guru? He doesn't say that you realize Guru's bogus because you can't see. Vaishnava Chiniti Nai Devata Shakati. Even the Devatas can't see who's a bona fide Vaishnava and who's not. We can't tell. But if I lose my faith, Jiva Goswami does not say you should hate that person, you should kick him, you should reject him. He said you should find someone who's a Nitya Siddha and hear from them, because that's our standard. But what if you can't find a Nitya Siddha? Then he says, and you should hear from a Sudha Bhakta. You should hear from someone who's a pure devotee, meaning someone who's speaking pure Katha. So this is our Vaishnava system. We're not the judge. We don't know what level the other Vaishnavas are on, but we want the Ashirvad of the Vaishnavas because that will please Gurudev. That will please Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It'll please Krishna. That we're so humble, we're cooperating with the devotees. We're working with them. And I'm not just saying that on behalf of the management. It's not Satpati Prabhu didn't ask me to say that in the class today, or the managers. But this is our principle. This is my dignity. Because I want to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission, and I cooperate together with them. But it doesn't mean, Guru Maharaj said, it's not that the temple president or the manager is my guru. They're a manager, and I respect them, and I cooperate with them on behalf of Srila Prabhupada for the mission that's going on. But Guru, who I accept as Guru, that's my responsibility. When I come to the temple or someplace, they have a management system. I respect that system. I can't choose. It's already been done, and I respect it. But who I accept as Guru, who I want to hear from, who I'm going to take instruction from, that's my responsibility. That's my business, and it's a very, very important business. Let me continue with this lecture from Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles. He said, you should write your realizations. Shravanam Kirtanam, writing or offering prayers, glories. This is one of the functions of the Vaishnava. You're hearing, but you have to write also. Writing means smarana, remembering what you've heard from your spiritual master, from Shastra. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, about Vishnu, not for others. Don't write any nonsense thing for any nonsense man. It's a useless waste of time. Write about Vishnu, Krishna. This is cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Hear, write, remember, try to understand. Don't be dull-headed. Be intelligent. Without being very intelligent, no one can have full Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is for the most intelligent men. And so Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in this verse today, he's saying, I need this Agyadana. I need the wealth of this order from the Vaishnavas because I want to write about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later in Anchalila, and the first verse is Mangalacharna verse in chapter 12 of Anchalila. Kaviraj Goswami says very beautiful thing. Shruyatam, shruyatam nityam, giyatam, giyatam muda, chinchitam, chinchitam bhaktas Caitanya-caritamritam. What do you do with this Caitanya-caritamrita? The first thing is shruyatam, shruyatam nityam. Shruyatam, shruyatam, you hear and you hear. How often do I hear? Nityam, always I hear. Guru Maharaj said, the function of the disciple is to hear from Guru. And then Gurudev tells you, you speak. And then what do you do? What do you speak? You repeat what you've heard from your Guru. And he said that kirtan of the disciple is another name for Shravan. And so in this way, he said, I'm always hearing from my Gurudev. I'm always hearing from him by speaking. Because Gurudev told us to speak. I heard from Gurudev. So I'm repeating what I heard from him. So it doesn't belong to me. It's his words. It's his order to speak. It's his mercy. It's his shakti if I can say anything. So why should I think, oh, I'm a big person? We should understand what it means to speak. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings a very nice song. I can sing this. I don't know if you can follow my Bengali pronunciation, but you can chant Hare Krishna in response. He won't find it in time. Garita chare rohi lama moji nakorinu sadhu sangha bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Loy sadhu besha ani upadeshe ebodo mayada ranga bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Hare, Garita Chare. What is my behavior like? It's like one of those scary movies. Like all the horror movie. Garita Achari. My behavior is very, very bad. Rohi lama moji, nakorinu sadhu sangha. I never really did sadhu sangha. All that I did. I was kind of close to Gurudev, spacing out, doing some nonsense. But as soon as someone pulled out a camera, then I go stand right next to Gurudev, very quick. So the people would take, and I would show me, see, Gurudev and I, we're like this. But in Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami says, Advaitam cha parityagat, in the first Vilas, the disciple should give up the attitude that I'm non-different from Gurudev. So what if he had so many photos with Gurudev? Rahi lama nakorino sadhu sangha. I never really did sadhu sangha. You found it? Huh? Loy sadhu vesh. But here I am in the Bhubaneswar ISKCON temple. Loy sadhu vesh, dressed up like a sadhu. Even they gave me a garland this morning also. Loy sadhu vesh, ani upadesh. And I'm giving instructions. It says, Ebodo mayada ranga. This is Maya's big joke. we should understand we're not the speaker. Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, you just be an instrument. The disciple should be an instrument of Gurudev. We should follow the instruction, the order of Gurudev, and by following that instruction, we get qualification. Rupa Goswami describes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Guru Padashrayas Tasmat. The first thing, take shelter of the lotus feet of Guru. Krishna Dikshati Sikshanam. Then you get Diksha from Gurudev. Then you take Siksha, you hear from Gurudev. And what's the next thing? Vishrambena Guru Seva. Then you do Guru Seva. But what kind of Guru Seva is it? Kaviraj Goswami uses the word Vishrambena. Now the word Vishramba, you can translate in several different ways. Guru Maharaj gave a whole Katha about this on one occasion. Vishramba means with love. But what kind of love? Vishramba means when the lover and the beloved are non-different. Vishrambena Guru Seva. The disciple should become non-different from Gurudev. So we take shelter of Gurudev. And then Krishna Dikshati Sikshanam, we take initiation from Gurudev. We hear from Gurudev. Once we were telling a story recently, this Shukadev Maharaj, ISKCON sannyasi, maybe some of you know him. He's a Deshi devotee, preaches in northern India mostly. He was staying here for a week or two, and one day he wanted to speak to Gurudev. And so for some reason he came to me, and he asked me if I could take him to see Guru Maharaj, and I very happily agreed. We went into the hut, and I was quiet. When Shukadev Maharaj started speaking, he said, Gurudev, he said, Maharaj, he said, I appreciate your kathas very much. Chamatkar, very amazing kathas. He's speaking 3-4 hours a day. But what I don't understand, so many Bideshi devotees are here, and they're not doing anything. You should have them going out, doing book distribution, doing Harinam. Prabhupada didn't like it when devotees were not doing service. So he said, so I don't understand. So many Bideshis are here, they're not doing service, they're just hearing class. And Guru Maharaj could see he's a very simple sannyasi, Shukadev Maharaj. It was not a challenging question. It was very sincere. He was confused. And Guru Maharaj looked at him and he said, Are Baba, what kind of service will they do unless they hear first? So we want to do Vishrambena Guru Seva. We want to become one in the heart with Gurudev. But how do you do that? It's not enough just Guru Padashrayas, just to take shelter of Guru. It's not even enough to take Diksha from Guru. Advaitam cha paritya get. Sanatana Goswami says, don't think you're non-different from Guru. But we have to hear Sikshadi, we have to hear from Gurudev, and we have to render service to Gurudev. Shushushoshadanasya Vasudeva Katha Sham Mahat Sevaya Viprapuna Tirtana Sevanat. By serving Gurudev, by pleasing him, then we'll understand his heart. And then the disciple will come to the platform of Vishramba Guru Seva, doing service non-different from Guru. Sanatana Goswami explains this perhaps in a little deeper way in his Krishna Lila Stava, where he says that Rupa Namashrita Vishta. Something happens when we sit and we hear Krishna Katha with a very rapt attention. Something happens when we get Diksha from Gurudev, we get mantra in the ear. When we take Harinam from Gurudev and we agree to chant 16 rounds without trying to avoid the 10 offenses and following 4 regulated principles, something happens. It's the same person, same mantra. You're chanting the Hare Krishna mantra before initiation and after initiation. It's the same thing, but something has changed. What has changed? Sanatana Goswami explains. Rupa, Nama, Ashrita. Ashrita means you take shelter of Rup and Nam. When you take shelter of Gurudev, the form of Gurudev, you take shelter of Krishna Balaram, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Gaunita. You take shelter of the form of the Lord. Rupa, Nama, Ashrita, then Avishta. Then Krishna enters into that devotee. And that's why the devotees look so very, very effulgent. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this in his Harinam Chintamani. Can devotees repeat if I sing in Bengali? Okay, you should go to Harinam Chintamani, chapter 4, text 54. You don't have Harinam Chintamani, I don't think. Okay. Chapter 4, text 54. Vaishnava nikate jadi Vaisi koto lakshan Deha hoite hoy Krishna Shakti nirasana bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Vaishnava nikate jadi. Just if you just happen to be close to a Vaishnava, Vaisi koto lakshana, just even for one moment, you're close to a Vaishnava. Deha hoy te hoy, Krishna's Shakti nisarana. That Krishna Shakti from the body of that Vaishnava can come to you. That comes through what medium? How does it come? Some persons say Gurudev comes and touches you on the head chakra. And then some Shakti comes. And some people say that you fall unconscious. Nonsense. It comes through the ear, from the lips of Gurudev, from the heart of Gurudev. It comes through his lips, and then it comes to our ear. And then in our ear, it goes to our heart. And then it comes back out again from our lips and goes back in again to our ear. And by being close to Gurudev in that way, and by hearing from him, that Krishna Shakti comes to the devotee. So, Kaviraj Goswami says, Diksha Kale Bhakta Kori Atma Samarpana. This is Anchilila chapter 4, text 192. Diksha Kale Bhakta Kori Atma Samarpana. That at the time of Diksha, when the devotee is Atma Samarpana, not just that I got initiated, but Atma Samarpana, you're fully surrendered. Krishna says, Say Kali Krishna Tari Kori Atma Sam. Krishna declares that devotee is as good as myself when you take that initiation. Say Deha Kore Tar Chidananda Moy Aprakrita Dehi Tanra Charana Bajoy. And then that devotee's body, it changes. It's no longer the same. Devotees are not the same. We see people come to the temple. They have some hair, they have some clothes, some Western clothes, and maybe they kind of dance a little bit in the kirtan, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Once we were doing Harinam. We were doing Parikrama in Jagannath Puri. I was taking Sachinandan Maharaj around, and Maharaj was singing a very ecstatic Harinam. We went past the Govardhan Mutt in Puri, and many of you know the Govardhan Mutt. There were two hardcore Mayavadi sadhus standing outside by the gate. I mean, Tripundra, Rudraksha beads around their neck, and they're staring at us. Here's all these crazy Bideshis jumping up and down and chanting Hare Krishna, dressed like sadhus. They'd never seen anything like it. And they were just staring like that. And Maharaj, Sachinanda Maharaj said, Come, come. And they just started coming, following us like robots. Very kind of mechanical. And they, after a few minutes, they started to chant. But when they were chanting, it was very funny. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They couldn't hardly chant. They stayed with us for like an hour. At the end of that hour, it was Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. And they were jumping up and down like this. By being close to the devotees, by hearing the holy name from the devotees, that holy name will enter into the heart of the devotee. And to the extent that we surrender, and they surrendered to some extent, I don't think completely, but they followed us. They joined our party. They started chanting the mantra. That mantra enters into the body of the devotee. Mantra grahani matrena naranarayanatmakaha. Punati lila matrena purishan satam satam. The Narada Pancharatra, chapter 9 describes that as soon as you get a Krishna mantra, you become situated on the same platform as Narayan himself. And immediately you can easily deliver 100 generations of your family. So this is the purpose of a Vaishnava. Vishrambena Guru Seva. We want to become empowered by Gurudev. Kaviraj Goswami is teaching us here, I want the Agya Dana. I want the blessings of all the Vaishnavas so that I can have the Shakti to write about Gaura Lila. We want the blessings, the Ashirvad of all the Vaishnavas. And we get that by pleasing them, by behaving in a humble way, so that we can become empowered, so that we can do nice service. I want to finish with a story. There's one great Vaishnava in Vrindavan named Nanda Kishore Goswami. Krishna Kun knows what this means. Who wrote a beautiful book, which we translated some parts of. This is about 200-300 years ago, called Vrindavan Lilamrita. And Nanda Kishore Goswami, he was the Mahant at Nityananda Vat, Sringara Vat, not far from the Radha Damodar temple on the bank of the Jamuna in Vrindavan. He had many disciples, and many of them were very, very learned pundits in Sanskrit. But he had one disciple who he named Bondu. He was a simpleton. I think Bondu in Hindi means someone who's not so bright. But Bondu was very sincere. He wanted to serve Gurudev. He had so much faith in Gurudev. He didn't know Shastra. He wasn't a big manager. He wasn't a big person, but he loved his Gurudev. So Nanda Kishore Goswami told him, well, you can take care of the cows. So you take the cows every day from here in the ashram, and you go across the Jamuna with the cows, and you go to Bandiravan. And in Bandiravan, the cows can graze. And so Bondu was very happy. Thank you, Gurudev. And so he went to Bandiravan. He was going there every day. One day, he met some young boys, some Brijbasi boys. And they told him, Baba, it's very good that you come here to Bandiravan and herd the cows, because Krishna is coming here every day to herd the cows. And if you're very fortunate, you may see him. And Bondu was very simple. He thought, oh, really? Oh. So he started thinking about that every day. I want to see Krishna. Where's Krishna? And every day he would go to Bandiravan with the cows, and he was calling out, looking, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. But he didn't see him. All day he's calling. All week, for months, for several years. Bondu was calling, Krishna, Krishna, where is Krishna? And finally, Bondu started crying. I'm so unfortunate. Krishna's not coming. I don't see Krishna. And Bondu was crying and crying. At that time, some boys were nearby, and they heard the sound of someone just weeping piteously. And the boys came running. He said, hey, Sadhu, what's going on? Is everything okay? Did you break a bone? Did someone die? What's happening? And Bondu, he said, I can't see Krishna. And the boys said, oh, it's another one of those Hare Krishna people. And they said, look, Baba, we're Brijbasis. We've seen many people like you. You come to Vrindavan, and you're looking for Krishna, Krishna, crying Krishna, and you waste your whole life. Krishna doesn't come. We've seen it so many times. Don't waste your time. Take our advice. We're Brijbasis. We know, we see many sadhus do like you. Take our advice. Don't waste your time with this Krishna. You be our friend. We're also Gwalas. We're also taking care of the cows. So Bondu made friends with them. And every day he would go and herd the cows with them, and they would do things together. He didn't say anything to anyone. But one day when he was leaving the ashram in the morning, he had a sack of atta flour on his head. He was carrying. And Nanda Kishore Goswami asked him, he said, hey, Bondu, where are you going with the flour? And he said, oh, Guru Maharaj, today there's a bandar. Some of my friends were having some festival, and I promised I'd bring some flour. And Nanda Kishore Goswami said, who are your friends? You never told me. He said, oh, Guru Maharaj, they're very nice. They're Brijbasi boys. They also take care of the cows. Oh, tell me. He said, well, Guru Maharaj, they're very good boys. The lead boy, he's very beautiful. Guru Maharaj, he's blackish. I've never seen anyone like him. Although he's blackish, he's very beautiful. His name's Kanu. And Guru Maharaj, he's amazing. I play the flute to call the cows, but when Kanu plays the flute, I've seen amazing things happen. The cows are eating, and the food just drops out of their mouth. I saw with my own eyes once, this Kanu, he started playing his flute, and the Jamuna stopped flowing, and then it started going backwards. I had never seen anything like it. And on another occasion, I saw he was playing his flute, and some pucky, some bird, was drinking water. And all of a sudden, Kanu started playing the flute, and the water became like a stone, and the bird got his beak stuck in the stone. It's amazing. And when Nanda Kishore Goswami heard about this, he said, "Oh, Bondu," he said, "I want to meet your friends." Said, "You tell them that tomorrow they should come here to the ashram and we'll give them all prasadam." And Bondu said, "Really, Guru Maharaj?" "Yes, yes." "Oh, thank you, Gurudev." And so then Bondu went that day, and he was playing with Krishna and Balaram and the boys at Vrindavan, not realizing that it was that Krishna, that Kanu. And then Bandhu, remember, he said, "Hey, good news, Kanu. Tomorrow, Gurudev said you're all invited to the ashram. You come for prasadam." And then Krishna stopped. And Krishna said, "Bandhu, I'm sorry, but you have to tell your Guru Maharaj that he can't see me in this lifetime." And when Bandhu heard that, he said, "Hey, come on, it's Gurudev. Don't make jokes like that. Okay, it's Gurudev. You have to see him as Guru Maharaj." And Krishna said, "Bandhu, I'm sorry, but he can't see me in this lifetime." And then Bandhu didn't say a word. His lips started quivering. He spun around and started walking away very fast. And as he was walking away, he said over his shoulder, without even looking back at Krishna, he said, "You're not my friend anymore. I don't want to see you. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. If you won't come to see my Gurudev, you're not my friend." And then Krishna, who's sought after by the greatest of yogis and mystics and sadhus, went running after Bandhu and grabbed his cloth. Hey, wait. And Krishna said, "Of course I can go. It's your Guru Maharaj. We have to." What I meant was that Dauji can't go because tomorrow is Balaram's birthday, so he can't go. But of course, your Guru Maharaj is requesting, I have to go. By the mercy of the disciple, Bandhu, because of his firm faith in his Gurudev, he got darshan of Krishna. And by his firm faith in his Guru got darshan of Krishna. And Krishna revealed to him all these pastimes and told him, "You write this book called Vrindavan Lilamrita." And he did, in Bengali, very nice book. All Krishna's different Braj lila, by the mercy of the devotee. In the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, chapter 9, Prahlad Maharaj offers a prayer, a very beautiful verse. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe karma bhikama manuya prapatan prasangat kritvatmasat surashena bhagavan grihita soham katam nuvish